What's the bravest thing you've ever done? This is written against the backdrop of a very messy divorce wherein my deranged wife was trying every below-the-belt dirty trick to try and get what she wanted, $12,000 per month for herself so she could live like a princess without working, in essence to fuel her life she chose, which was basically a non-stop erotic cabaret. Up until our split, we lived in a beautiful house, 2 full-time servants, and luxury cars. I did all the work and looked after my 2 most exceptionally beautiful, smart and sensitive boys, aged 3 and 5 years respectively. She contributed nothing except sleep, have coffee meetings, party, and as I suspected was hooking up with anything that moved, as if dead policemen and rolls of barbed wire weren't safe. At this point it is important to note that at this stage we were living apart and the children were living with me. This was her choice. She was advised by both her lawyer and our independent arbitrator that her chances of getting anything were slim. She went to the family court, fabricated physical abuse. I have never hit a woman ever, obtained an interim protection order forcing me to pay her the $12,000 per month plus all the boys' expenses, thereby enslaving me while simultaneously denying me access to my children, whom I loved and cared for more than anything. And then she did the unthinkable. Under the pretense of taking the boys to a birthday party, she put them on a plane, taking them to a city 1,000 miles away to live with her grandparents. The protection order forbade me going within 150 yards of her or her abode. My boys were so confused. They had suddenly been ripped away, without preparation, from their home, their main psychological reference points, their dog and cat, their au pair, their friends, their school. They sounded so devastated when I spoke to them by phone. I took advice from lawyers, a psychologist and social workers, all saying pretty much the same thing: you have to get the boys back quickly. On a Friday morning, being day 5 after their snatching, I surreptitiously established they had been dropped off at a relative's home. I knew she would only be back the next day. After all, it was Friday and she would have to party all night. I caught the last plane that night, fetched a rental car, drove to the suburb where they were staying, put the seat down and tried to get some sleep. At 6:30 the next morning I drove to the house where they were and parked half a block away. The house was ultra secure, with high walls, electric fencing, CCTV and the whole 9 yards. Looking through a gap in the gate I could see my youngest playing in the front garden. I pressed the buzzer and the gate opened. I walked inside, picked up my surprised youngest in my arms. I was then greeted by the also very surprised maid who knew me, as well as the situation. She asked what I was doing there. I said I've just come to drop some clothes and toys off for the boys. I asked my youngest where his brother was. He said still sleeping and showed me where he was. I picked him up out of bed and carried both, asking the maid to open the gate for me. She asked why and I said I just needed to fetch the clothes and toys from the car. She opened the gate. I ran for the car, one boy on each hip, telling them we were going on holiday, and trying to assure them that everything was okay. I hit the highway, turning my phone off whilst trying to hold back the tears. We drove 8 hours and finally booked into a guest farm in the desert. That night when I put my beautiful boys to bed my eldest said to me, "Dad, I want to thank you for saving me. This is the best day of my life."